stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka that Tellest guy. It's going to be a weird one today, I think. We have a storm going on outside, so at any moment the stream could cut off, and I apologize if that happens. The other thing is I can't really see the storm outside to enjoy it while this is going on. Probably nice that there's not a huge distraction, but we recently put some blackout curtains up on the windows to help it cool off during the day. Hence why I have the webcam again today after a very long time. I feel like I'm not flush and sweating and everything like that, so we decided to throw that on. Plus there's some things in the channel points that that kind of benefits more if you can see me doing them. Doesn't really make sense to have me hydrate, change a hat, posture check, any of that stuff if you can't actually see me adhering to those requests. So that was kind of what we were doing there. Yeah, we're just going to keep on the camera for a little bit. We'll see if we enjoy doing them again now that it's not super sweaty or anything. At some point, I'm going to get a green screen background so that I can kind of chroma key everything around, you know, my face and body so it looks a little nicer. Aw, Rihanna said, even Maisie is nervous. It's a shame. Luna was up here earlier, which like never happens. I mean, she comes up here to to annoy and nudge and everything, but she was up here laying down on a little pile of blankets, being nice and quiet. So that's how you know that something was not right. Anyway, we're gonna get into the map. We're going to spend a little bit of time just kind of touching things up. You can see I did a little bit of work outside of yesterday's stream and today's stream. We got a little bit of like cliffs and stuff like that. It's really coming down out there. What we're gonna do is just kind of do a little bit more of that and see what we can come up with just to kind of snazz up this map a little bit more. There is going to be a variant level that we're going to do off stream, and that'll probably be something that makes this map next week's map for like Patreon and things like that. And I still have to do a lot of the work on the Vista, and I have a feeling that that's going to be a little bit more hard work than I got my work cut out for me, let's put it that way. So let's get right to it. The first thing that I'm going to do is put on that pink spot again on the map so that we can see what we're working with, make sure that we don't overstep, because I don't want to push too far into that area and have to blend things perfectly, just in case I do want to change some things when I'm working on that portion of the map. I don't know why my voice is acting up today, of all days. The other thing is, you'll notice these cliffs, I never know whether or not I have them facing in the right direction. I feel like it's okay, but I just don't know for sure. So we're going to kind of cross our fingers and hope for the best. So what we're going to do is, I feel like it's going the right direction. Like, that feels like it should be going inward to look like it's going lower. So I think it's right. So we might as well make it like a sort of path. We've got the path that the wizard would take, or visitors to the wizard's house would take in order to get to his building, but we want to kind of make this area look like it's kind of not cut off, but uneven. I figure we're on a mountain, it should look a little bit uneven. We'll do that kind of thing. Let's see. Might have to move some of these trees around, but for right now, it doesn't look terrible what we're doing. Yeah, I am going to scooch these down a little bit. And let's keep it up a smidge. So we'll keep to just a couple of small cliffs over on this area. Maybe we can do a bigger one there. I think this one, the problem is that one might want to... No, I think... Oh, it's so tough. I feel like it's supposed to be that way. Turn that a smidge. Maybe we'll shrink that one down a little bit so that it's got a little bit more room. And that way it's kind of adhering to that color pattern. got these little guys. Do we have any other little ones? There we go. One last little guy. And maybe another one up there, too. Okay, looking good. Alright, so we've got our cliffs there. That helps us to kind of make things look a little bit more... Oh, you know what? Let's do one more down there, I guess, too. This is nice because it makes things look a little bit more, like I said earlier, uneven. But in a good way, I feel like. You know what? In keeping with the kind of color patterns, maybe what we'll do is we'll turn this inward, move this over, tilt that one over there. So this will be kind of like the way that people would go about getting out of this area if they didn't want to go up on the wizard's cliff or anything like that. And I think we're going to change this a smidge more. Try and keep things. Maybe we'll leave a little bit of a gap so that people can climb up there if they really need to. And maybe we do like one more thing of rocks. I feel like we've already done that one, so we'll do something like this instead. Basically, I want people not to be able to come up this way. Don't want to grab the cliffs. Scooch that back a little bit. Alright. So I feel like we need to do a little bit here and a little bit down here. Maybe a tiny smidge there. But other than that, things are looking pretty good. I'll tell you what, we're going to test some new stuff real quick. So let's do a minute to our... I'm going to have to move that because it doesn't really make sense being on my face. We're going to put a minute on the clock, let that wind down. We're going to do an ad. Let's see what else we can do here to make things look a little nicer. Let's see. Let's do, like see if I can do like some hardy plants and stuff like that. Got the forest plants. Let's just cut them down to size a little bit. Numlock needs to be on. Let's do these in a couple of places. Alright, we're blinking. Let's try our add button now. Let's see if that works. Maybe? I don't really know for sure because it didn't give me the message like it usually does. So we're going to give ourselves about 90 seconds and then we're going to do our own commercial on the back side of that. So we'll see if things play a little nice. Rihanna, are you noticing whether or not there's a commercial? An advertisement? We'll do a save since we're waiting for the commercial to end anyway. So there's two things that could be happening right now. Either Rihanna is not hearing me because she's on commercial, or she's not hearing me because she's playing Fallout. Either one is a possibility. Okay, let's go away from that. Let's go back down to terrain. Let's see if there's anything that we like down there. So at 7:13, we're going to assume that we're back from break, and we're going to try one other thing. Yeah, not a lot of good stuff there. Still have to shrink that down somewhat. Let's go to our core stuff. Let's see. Maybe throw a log over here somewhere. I can still hear that thunder out there. Actually surprised that Zelda hasn't shown up here yet. Alright, we are at 7:13. Rihanna, did you end up going to commercial? Can you confirm? Awesome. Alright, so we in theory should have 30 minutes, no commercials. No one should be having any pre-roll problems or anything. I'm very happy with the way that that turned out. I can hear some weird static going on. I feel like it's because of the storm. We are going to do one more thing real quick, and Rihanna, I'll make you the guinea pig for this one too. We're going to go to a very special commercial for this channel. So let's see if this works. Now that our Twitch channel has reached affiliate status, we can start to do some really cool things. One of them is inviting you to play our tabletop dungeon diving game, Quantum Quest. Using our channel points, called Quest Coins, you can queue up for one of our forthcoming Tabletop Thursday games. In addition, as we amass more followers, we'll continue to add new ways for you to use your Quest Coins. Join us and see if you can escape the living dungeon. Alright, how'd that turn out, Rihanna? Professional AF. I like it. Alright, we are playing around with some other things here. I was thinking like some crystal clusters might be fun. I think probably not. Just doesn't feel right. Let's do some more cracks, I guess. The cracks can look pretty nice when they're showing up in this spot. So let's do... I think that's just regular terrain. That's not cracks. So we need a different one. There we go. Alright, and we are on the foreground layer. Let's do... Yep. Should be the right size and everything. Ooh, we are going way too hard with that, though. Let's do 55. And we are actually going to use this to kind of bridge our gap between one of these and the next. Let's turn off the grid. Do a little bit of it over here as well. Some cracks in the middle. I feel like we still need a little bit of something, but we're getting close to wrapping things up, I think. I like how you can see the grid from that piece, just like vaguely, you know where things are. Don't want anything up in there, that's fine. Alright, I feel like at least outdoors, for the most part, things look pretty good. I'm not too concerned with the way that things look outside of the interior of this wizard's tower. So let's ruminate on this for a second. Got the little painting there. We only have the one painting. Let's see if there's anything that we can get from like the wizard's set. Oh, Rihanna redeemed voice change, and for some reason it didn't do like a sound effect. It's supposed to do something. So let me get. I'm gonna hydrate too before we do this. Rihanna, are you thinking that this is an accurate lost Scumpy? If it's an accurate little Scumpy, we're gonna keep on talking like this. We're gonna look for more. I gotta do the 1 minute countdown for that for myself. Rihanna's delighted. It's been a long time since I've done a Lola Scumpy. I need to do a little bit more research on Big Mouth again. Tell me what to say, Rihanna. Let's do... We like to say, hark, a window. I feel like I'm not doing it to the best of my ability right now either. Alright, we're going to do this stone wall, and we like to say, Noah and his little boat. And I think that that's an us original. I don't think that that Nick Kroll can claim that on his resume. Alright, let's see. No, way off. Way off! Don't do that! That kind of counts. I feel like that wasn't 100% what Rihanna deserved, but that one caught me off guard. Is that? Okay, that is good. And I feel like that gives it more texture for sure. So that is good. We're going to continue going through this area over here, perhaps. Yeah, we're going to give it a shot. And then let's keep going with, we'll use the round brush. So R-related, you can't say them. Give me something else to say that wasn't from that show. I tried to look up quotes for you, but it's so R-rated you can't say them. Oh, my bad. See, if nothing else, it's nice practice. Let's see, we'll do a little bit more here. Again, it's just to give it a little bit more texture and not have it be this weird flat thing. We don't usually have... Matt likes it a lot. I do not like gridless maps too much. They look nicer, but I feel like I lose the heart of it being a D&D map. A peanut is neither a pea nor a nut. Talk amongst yourselves. Alright, let's see what we got there. That looks much nicer, I think. It looks worlds different just from having that texture added there, because it almost looked... It ended up looking unfinished If ghosts don't exist, how do you explain the existence of ghosts? Alright, I think what we're going to do, we'll do one more save, and I'm going to head to our Battle Maps folder real quick and see what's next, because for now at least I think that we're... Oh man, I gotta do the South Keep. The Forgotten Keep South Wing. That's a lot of prep work too. So we're going to do a little bit of a skip for a moment. So I'm trying to debate whether or not we should go to... We've got 3 maps coming. We've got the Forgotten Keep South Wing, which I have to plan out anyway, because our other maps in the Forgotten Keep have gone off in whatever directions. Go off, King! They've gone off, either to the west or to the east, whereas we've only done one map that goes north to south in the same kind of dimension that we have everything else. I don't know for sure if I want to build it like our other maps and just have it go left to right and then the player's meant to turn it. I feel like that's not really in line with how it should be, because you can even see when we did the map for... Well, here, we'll actually look at it real quick while we're talking about it. So we did the campsites map, which is it was a bonus map that we did for our backers for the 50 maps of Tellest Kickstarter last November. It's the only map thus far that we have that's the right dimensional scale of everything that we have amongst our other maps. You can see, it's 2 to 1. It's twice the height as it is the width. In this case, most of our maps are twice the width as the height. So it, in theory, works. The problem is when we take this to a cloth map, and I mean, in this case, it's not going to be so bothersome because no one's going to know. They're going to use it up and down, and that's going to be it. But for the Forgotten Keep, where you have a west and east, a north and south, if you turn that map sideways, the things are going to be off kilter a little bit. So the question with that map is, do we build it like this, or do we build it sideways? I feel like this is probably the correct way to do it, but I still have to do some thinking about that. I need to make sure that I'm doing that the right way. So that's the Forgotten Keep. After that, we have Folly's Glen, which is a kind of magical forest area that it exists in the Mageborn trilogy. So we're definitely going to have to look at that at some point. We could do a little bit of testing real quick with that. And then after that, we've got the Savannah third map, which is... I said that it was 1 north, but I think that what we would do is... Oh, you know what? That does make sense. So let's actually take a look at that real quick, because we are trying to do like the A-B style, and that would be a nice way of doing that. So let's try and see if this will let us search. You gonna let us search a little bit better than this? So we could do this one right here, which should in theory connect to everything. So let's edit this map, and we're gonna go 1/3 higher. So I had originally thought it made more sense to go south from here, but that doesn't really make a lot of sense because we've got the road going off the side. I mean, we could do it. It doesn't really preclude us from doing this. But I think what we'll do instead is we'll have the crossroads be the centerpiece of this zone, and then as we're building out a 3x3, we'll have something to the left of the crossroads and something to the right of the crossroads, and we'll build out in that kind of way. So let's go up here. We're going to go to our resize. And this is probably not going to be the map that I'm starting with next week when we're working on things. This is just so that we have something to work with now. Alright, so we got to do 60. And that should snap to grid. Let's make sure. There we go. Well, no, it used to do something a little bit different for me. It's not really doing that right now. So let me get the calculator out because I don't want to screw anything up. So the I've got top -20, and I feel like that's problematic. It used to do, like, it would tell you exactly how many grid pieces you had. And I feel like width 40, height 61 is off. So 20, 48, 30, 46. 30, 46 divided by 3. That doesn't seem right. 3072 divided by 3? That sounds more right. Yep, and then twice of that is 2048, so that is right. So as you can see over here, 3046, it's still saying 60 over here. If I bump it up, it's getting me to top -20, which is great, but it's still saying the 60. It's tough. It's not really doing things the way that I would prefer it to do. And like I said, it used to say, all right, we're at -21.5 or something like that. This is a little less problematic than having no numbers, but it's still, arguably, it would be better to have the old style where it was telling you how many spaces you were going. So let's hit confirm. We're not going to get rid of anything. We're going to keep things there for now. That way we can at least kind of take things forward a little bit, figure out where we're going with things. I don't want to do another, like, Microsoft Excel construction stream today. I'll work on that off stream for the Forgotten Keep. The good news with the Forgotten Keep is we have all the notes that we went through when we were making our original stuff, so we don't have to go too crazy for that. Let's see what we have here. So we've got our road. Let's make sure that everything looks all right here, and then we'll take one step back afterwards. Yep, alright, so we're good there. Let's do a save real quick. So we'll do Savannah. We'll just call it Savannah North for now. And just try and build out like a natural path for this this road to take. We're going to get a lot of this, you know, yellowy grass look that's going to help us, you know, maintain some stylistic consistency from one map to the next. And since down here we're kind of going off to the side that way, maybe we do the opposite up here, and we come over here and we start to build out up in this direction. And let's see, I think we used this to kind of be our indication of this is where the grass is going to be. So let's try and keep, yeah, you can actually see the pieces of it there. So we'll build that around the road, and that'll help us to kind of keep things in check. And then before we put any of the grass down, at that point we'll say, okay, it's time to figure out what our points of interest are. What is going on there? Some weird stuff. We'll have to make sure that we clean that up if it's not like a weird artifact or anything. Alright. A bunch of this muddy, dirty stuff. See, the trouble with yeah, that's going on over there too. That's weird. I wonder if that is. Oop. I think that is nothing. Yeah, it might have just been an artifact over here. Do we have the same problem still? No, once I did the undo, it went away. Sometimes Inkarnate just likes to make you pull your hair out a little bit. Alright, so we've got that side over there. Let's do a little bit over here as well. I'm going to go around that road. We're going to have to clean it up a little bit more as we go, but... So I was saying, one of the problems with the savannah is it's just by nature not very busy. So you have to find ways to be creative about what people see. And we've already done a couple of instances of, people out in the world. We've got the prisoner who was hung from the tree in the cage. We've got the wanted board. We've got the wagon that tipped over once it hit the rock, and then we've got the guy who's being eaten alive by crows. And then a little bit further down, it looks a little less busy. We've got a secret hideout here. Like that was the whole nature of that. We've got the little watering hole. And then in one of our variants, we have some of this grass was kind of flattened down, and someone had ran over here to avoid some kind of danger. So, what are we going to build for this part of the world? Let's take a look at some of our stamps and see if there's anything that jumps out at us. I don't want to do anything in the desert because I feel like that's a little too reductive for this zone. Maybe there's stuff in the orc set that we can use. Again, I don't want to try and reduce it too far and make it feel like this is the Barrens of World of Warcraft, but it's certainly something that we can try out. We got the tanning rack, we got the totem. Again, I'm trying not to do anything that makes it feel like I don't want it to look lived in, and I feel like a lot of the orc stuff has that going for it. So we don't want to go that route. Let's see, I don't want to do anything from hell or the graveyards or anything. I'll tell you what, I'm going to ruminate on this a little bit more. Maybe we have it so it's not super flat up there. We have a little bit of hills over here, so maybe we can build something out up there. Let's we'll do one more save, and then what we'll do is head to we'll start something from scratch and do a little bit of testing on Folly's Glen, which is the forest map that we're working on in. It's derived basically from the first Mageborn book. Adelia Cregan goes into that area, finds some stuff that's acting very weird, and we'll kind of go from there. I think... Do I have an inspiration? Yeah, we have this. Let's look at this real quick. So this was actually supposed to be my inspiration for Folly's Glen, and I'm going to try and see if we can kind of use this as... hey, we're definitively going to do this kind of style. So I think Folly's Glen in the books didn't quite have like the phosphorescent trees or anything like that, but maybe we'll lean into that a little bit. And we'll mess with the lighting so that it looks like this. I think maybe these are some god rays. Let's go in here real quick. I can't remember who the actual author was of this. Let me see if there's information on that when we go into like the info or the details. What are you yelling at me for? Alright, let's go into map details. No, it didn't have that information. If I do dig this up, I'll try and see if I can let people know who it was. So, let's do figure out some of this lighting first. So that might just be legit. Okay, so it's a spooky light. I don't even know if those exist anymore. Nope, not Suki. Yeah, so spooky lights don't even exist anymore. Get out of here. It might have just been renamed. Let's do something in here to do some testing. So we're gonna go to color and we're gonna do, let's do black on here, and if it's background, there we go. So we're doing that to do some testing. So there is like a god ray looking thing that they did here. And it's just regular light. It's on overlay mode. There's nothing too crazy there. It's just kind of enhancing and accentuating what's already on the screen. Another one there, so we don't need that one. Let's grab our spooky light and move that down here. That one's an overlay too, so when you drape it over top of the black area, you're not really getting anything that you can work with there. As we move this around, it looks like, yeah, like it changes a little bit of color based on what you're working on. So over here it gets this nice pink color. So we don't need that. Phthalites are what we're probably going to end up using for some Luma bugs, but we might shrink it down a little bit. Let's do, that might be a little too bright when we're testing it, but let's see, that's going to be a color dodge, so we don't see any of that on the black either, but yeah, I think that'll work. There was, so we have in Mageborn in Folly's Glen, there was Luma bugs that were kind of dancing around, like these, if you've ever seen Princess Bride and they were in the forest where the ROUSs were, there were also those kind of like bursts of fire that came out of the ground, and that was kind of an inspiration for this part of Mageborn. And the Luma bugs kind of knew that they were there, and they were kind of like riding the fumes from one area of the terrain to the next. So we'll try and do something like that. I think we probably will do something with the phosphorescent trees. We'll just call it like a different part of Folly's Glen. Let's see, we got orb trees, which we may not use. They look a little too different. I don't know. We'll have to see. And then they've got, I don't know for sure. So they used waves to be their cliffs, which is a little different than we usually see. It's a craggy hill. That's interesting. Is it just because they did the clip mask? Oh, that's really cool. So let's try this out real quick. Let's try and understand what's going on here. So that's all background, but I think that is awesome. So this is definitely mask. Like if I subtract this, you should see. Ooh, if I add, so this person did things kind of opposite to what I normally do. His river is the foreground, everything else is the background. So you can see, if I wanted to, I could make another river over here. Now it starts to be, the default terrain over here and everything. But because he was using the craggy hill, and he had it shrunken down a little bit, it ends up really kind of giving it a nice texture. style. So let's keep on backing it up until we get that. Yeah, like it's so subtle, but it looks really nice. Let's see. We got another piece up here. And I think a little bit of it's obscured by some light, perhaps. There's so many layers. This person did a really good job. Yep, so we've got these big old fey lights that are sitting on top over here. Yeah, just a decent amount of it. It looks... They did a really good job. And then I think everything else is just... They did... Is it this? In theory, if I do this, nothing's going to change. There's something that they did that made it really pop, and I don't really know what it is. I don't know if color travels from person to person when you clone. Because that green is not doing it. I think size is supposed to change too. Oh, you know what though? That's really nice. That's a nice water style. So I might be losing the way that they have it. But that green kind of looks interesting, to say the least. Let's do like a color swap real quick and see if we can make it look a little bit more blue. I think like 48. I think it might just be that guy over there. That looks so nice though. I feel like that's the perfect color for what we're gonna do. So let's get this real quick, figure it out. It's going to be in the Fey stuff, I believe. Yeah, so we're going to be doing the Fey water, and we're going to do a 57 hue. So let's take a step out real quick. We're going to go to our maps. We're going to go to our Battlemap size template and just do a clone. We're going to call it Follies Glen. And let's go up here real quick. And we're going to get just the basic structure of this map. Number one, we need to go and get a couple of Fey trees. Because I think the main focus of this, whenever I picture Follies Glen in my head, the way that I'm picturing it is two trees with a stream in between them. The stream starts at one tree, ends at the other. There's no explanation for where it goes or where it came from. And it does some weird little magical stuff when you're there as well. Let's do... I'm wondering whether or not we do the two oaks or the pines. And I feel like the oaks are the way to go. So let's do... We'll keep them this kind of like big structure. Let's do one right about there. And we'll do the other one in this color. So our stuff is going to kind of wind that way. And then we've got two from the bottom there. We'll do... two from the bottom there, or two from the top there, give or take. So let's see what we got here. This is going to need a lot of work after the fact. But we're adding, everything else is going to be background. And we're going to turn off the mask effects and stuff like that, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's go to our Fey water. I think it was 47. And we need to make sure that the size is down to 30. think it's going to be foreground layer. Yeah. So we might do some other stuff underneath there. We definitely know that we need to clean some of this stuff up. Let's go to our advanced settings, turn off the mask effects. Yeah, there's a decent amount that we still have to do. We need to trim that down, trim it up, whatever we're going to call it. Let's see if we can't grab some other stuff from... Ooh, that looks nice from where I'm looking. So this, on the other hand, is going to be our background. So this is a nice kind of background default for us that looks much different than most of the other maps that we've worked on. We're not going to leave it all this style. You know, we're going to put grass and stuff like that down, but this looks like a forest even without the trees. So this is a nice start for us. Alright, we are going to move this guy over here. Let's see, we've got... Let's do a line test real quick. So we're going to go to our stamps. We're going to get this guy here. We're going to take it down to 10. We're going to go to our pen tool. And we're going to snap it to the grid. So we've got roughly that much space. So we want to try and do the same thing on the other side. So I want to have a kind of symmetry to it. Right about there. And does this need to move over because of that? Yes, it does. So right about there is where we want to take it. So let's go back to our... do a subtract, I think. Put that all back. Go to add one more time. We're going to shrink this down. Oh, we need to be on add anyway. Let's bring it down to like 22. Well, that's not any better. I definitely am not good at rivers, so I'm going to have to figure out what works best for us as we're building this out. Foreground. There we go. Alright. So that's our starting concept for Follies Glen. Nothing too crazy right now, but we'll build off of this. It's definitely going to be one of our busier maps. We're going to have a lot of stuff around, like the corners. I kind of want it to feel a little bit like Zelda's Lost Woods as well, but we'll kind of go there. We'll get there on our way, I suppose. Let's do a save, and then we'll use this opportunity to close the show. So, folks, on the screen right now, you should see all the places that you can find Tellest out there on the internet. Tellest.com is a great first stop for you. It usually takes you to any of the projects that we're currently working on. We've got 2 premium websites that you might want to take a look at, and those are patreon.com/Tellest and Tellest.etsy.com. Patreon is where you're going to want to go if you want to find these maps that we're done with that you can import really nicely into Roll20 or some other tabletop platform that you can play on. But Etsy is where you can go and get the cloth battle maps that we have. We just launched, I think, our 48th one earlier today, the Floating Islands of Eratul. That is a nice map. It's 20 by 40 like most of our other maps. Almost 99% of our maps are 20 inches by 40 inches on these nice polyester style game pads. They look great. There's a couple of other things that you can get on the Etsy shop as well, including posters, books, our tabletop card game Quantum Quest. A lot of cool stuff. You can also find Rihanna's Weird Witch Wands on there, and if you want to see more of those, you can go to tiktok.com/@WeirdWitchWands to see those when she wrapped them up. We have another TikTok channel for our scaredy cat dogs at Tales of Tellest, so you can see them in happier moods than when there's a storm booming outside. And then the last two places that I'll bring your attention to are our YouTube channel at World of Tellest, where you can see these videos after Twitch knocks them off after the 21 days or whatever. And you can go to twitch.tv/thattellestguy to see us live. We just became an affiliate, so you can join us, earn quest coins, and we've got that cool stuff that we announced earlier, where you can queue up and play one of our Quantum Quest games live on a future Tabletop Thursday. The man do want his chalky milk. That is going to wrap us up for today. I think we're probably going to take off the rest of the week because we're not ready to do the Tabletop Thursdays just yet. I have a lot of work to do on the back end, but we will be coming up with that very soon. I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks is when we're going to officially launch that with our first game. But thank you for joining me. It's been fun. It was our first full week with the affiliate status stuff, and I just wanted to thank everybody for getting me there and for playing with the new stuff with me as we've been moving forward. But that's it for today, and I'll miss you.